Alrighty, g'day again. Taking a look at things in Australia that just don't make any sense. In the best way, though. Things that just, let's say, defy logic. I've looked at a lot of stuff from Australia, and somehow we have found more things that just blow my mind down under. Here we go. So we're going to start things off with something I actually have seen, but I had to throw it in here right away just as an honorable mention, and that is, of course, the Marree Man. So take a look at this. I'm sure most of you might have heard of this, maybe even seen it if you're lucky. It's a modern geoglyph discovered by air on June 26, 1998. It appears to depict an indigenous Australian man hunting birds or wallabies with a boomerang. It lies on a plateau at Finnis Springs in central South Australia. No one knows who made it. Now, that's what's amazing about stuff like this. Now, I understand to an extent, you know, big sorts of glyphs like this in different forms exist around the world. And it always amazes me because how do they do this, right? Like, imagine the effort and the coordination involved and the time it took to do this. I mean, this is over a humongous area, hence why you can see it from the air. If this was a size, you know, someone made a little shadow of themselves out of rocks that was only, you know, the height of a normal human, you wouldn't even be able to see it from up here. So clearly this is huge. Not to mention it also looks very realistic. It's a very true depiction of a man holding a boomerang or about to throw it or whatever. It's really cool. With certain things, it's like, how did they do it without anyone noticing while they were doing it? Now, of course, in this case, this looks like it's probably in the middle of nowhere, so I don't think there were much passerbys saying, hey, what's that guy doing? But still, had to throw this in there. It says really cool. And I would really love to know if any of you have actually had the pleasure of seeing this from the air. I don't know if this is something that's seen by many or if this is really off the beaten path and, you know, most people will never see this. Okay, next up, we have an island off the coast of, I think, northern Queensland somewhere. I'm going to look in a second, called Hook Island. Now, I've never heard of this. I've heard of a lot of different things in Australia, but it's so big. There's tons of things most people, you know, might never hear of. This apparently is a very interesting place. You'll have to let me know your opinions and thoughts in the comments. First of all, this is the first time I'm introduced to it, is with this. What do you guys think of the Hook Island photo? So supposedly, you know, I think we've all heard of like Loch Ness, right? Some sort of sea monster, you know, lore, whether it's real or not. Not sure. Let me just preface this with saying this is not a theory. It's a fact. There are things in our ocean that we don't know about, right? They might not be grand in size like this. They might not even be weird, but there is no doubt that there are things in the water, in our oceans, which make up most of our planet and goes very deep that we don't know about. We know this. They claim that we know more about space than we do our own oceans. So let me preface that. That's definitely a fact. Now, when we come up with photos or videos that look weird like this, well, it's hard to know. I think that there's always a possibility that there's some freaky creatures in the water. There might be some big, you know, prehistoric-like creatures in the water. We just don't know. I think to blindly believe in all of them would be a little bit naive. And I think to blindly write them all off as fake would be equally naive. So I will sit on the fence with this, but this looks pretty crazy just because this is from 1964. So it's not like this was taken a week ago with the plethora of millions of different apps and filters and Photoshop capabilities. I realize you can even edit an old photo, but I'm just saying these photos have been circulating for a while from what I've just found out. And this is pretty interesting if this was real. It's like a giant tadpole or like almost like a snake. I'm not really sure what to compare it to, but it's huge. And if that was real, that'd be scary. And if it was real, I feel like Australia would be the place where it would be. So yeah, on the one hand, the fun theory would be that's a crazy big monster. On the other hand, if there isn't practical explanation for something that would look that weird, it could be a school of fish. That's what people in the comments theorize might be what it was. So if we go here, we can do this one. There's pop-ups everywhere on this Daily Mail. Jeez. But you can see this was pictured. This is a more modern picture of a guy that was pretty scared and found out that this was a school of fish surrounding them. Now, that does look pretty weird and eerie, but once you find out that that makes sense, that it could be, you know, thousands of fish in a school, like when they travel like that, kind of makes sense that it would look like that. It still does look weird, but at least this has an explanation. You know, maybe when this school of fish starts traveling fast, it doesn't look like a blob anymore. It might look like a more streamlined shape like we saw in the Australia photo. Regardless, this Hook Island place is pretty interesting. I would pull up the wiki on it. It's one of the Whitsunday Islands off the coast of Australia, Queensland to be exact. It's almost uninhabited, quite rugged, and almost completely contained with a section of the Whitsunday Islands National Park. The island has two prominent geographical features, the Nara and Makona Inlets, two fjord-like recesses that are used as anchorages for the Whitsunday tourist fleet. The island's northern coast is noted for its colorful underwater coral groves to which snorkeling and diving enthusiasts are attracted. Then it mentions that in '64, which circulated globally, famous photos of a sea monster was visible. The best known of the Hook Island sea monster photos is familiar to many. The two or three others are less familiar. It features a gigantic tadpole-like monster supposedly encountered in Stonehaven Bay, Hook Island, by Robert Lesurek and his family during December of 1964. Now, in other news, something that did happen there that's pretty freaky is on the 12th of February 2008, a yacht ran aground at Cape Cove. The yacht became wedged on dangerous rocks, requiring the rescue of 37 people by helicopter. The incident was Australia's largest helicopter rescue operation from a vessel. At least 2 people have died from Urcandi jellyfish. Holy smokes. While snorkeling off of Hook Island. Some of the oldest archaeological sites ever found in Eastern Australia are the caves and midden of the Ngaro people on Hook Island. A site at Nara Inlet is the oldest indication of Aboriginal occupation in the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park. Wow, this place is just filled with interesting things. What is this, by the way? They're extremely venomous, rare jellyfish. And of course, they inhabit the northern marine waters of Australia. They cost the Australian government $3 billion annually through tourism losses and medical costs associated with stings? Holy smokes. Look at that thing. That's it. Is that what it really is? This little guy can make such an impact and cost the country $3 billion annually. Well, you certainly learn something new every day. Wow. If you happen to get stung by these little guys, even a small amount of venom includes excruciating muscle cramps in the arms and legs. Wow, that's scary. Severe pain in the back and kidneys, a burning sensation on the skin and face, headaches, nausea, restlessness, sweating, vomiting, and an increase in heart rate and blood pressure. Oh, is that all? These effects are caused by the release of, they are testing my brain ability today. Catecholamines. Catecholamines, that's what I'm going to go with. The venom also contains a sodium channel modulator. Boy, these little guys are nuts. The sting is moderately irritating. The severe syndrome is delayed for 5 to 120 minutes, averaging around 30 minutes. These last from hours to weeks. They usually require hospitalization. Anyway, yeah, that is crazy. What a rabbit hole we went down with Hook Island, just that region. Very fascinating. It looks very beautiful, but you definitely got to be careful there. Whoa, lots of interesting stuff happening there. Okay, 2 French-speaking guys encounter a frill-necked lizard in Australian outback. From the coast all the way inland to the outback. Australia will rock your world. Take a look at this. Holy crap. Whoa, dude, that's scary as hell. Get off.
Voilà. Bah en fait, faut juste qu'il vous monte dessus.
Salut. Vive l'Australie.
Quand on dit oui, il va à la collerette, c'est compliqué à attraper, vous les embêtez. Non, non.
Hop là.
Jeez, dude. Oh, no, don't go for the face. No way.
Tu vas perdre un œil.
Je me fais dominer là, laisse tomber.
Bonjour.
Is that thing gonna spray venom or something?
Bonjour. Oh, belle.
I love how he's like, bonjour. These guys are either brave or crazy. I can't tell which.
Belle lumière.
Okay, how scary is that thing? Look it was so chill on the ground. Look, you could barely see it. But then you walk up. Clearly, so I've never seen this. I have seen it. Actually, I've seen it in Jurassic Park. Anyone remember the original Jurassic Park? The dinosaur that did that, it flared out, and it was the big guy. I can't remember the character's name. Big guy, curly hair, glasses. He got out in the, soaking rain, and unfortunately, I believe he had a bad encounter with this thing right here. I didn't know these were real. Who knew that they were in Australia this whole time? These are crazy. That's got to be a defense mechanism. You got to give me some facts here. Do these bite? Do these sting? Do these spray venom? If they don't do any of those things, I don't care. They're scary as hell. That is super cool and terrifying at the same time. What a crazy animal. And this thing literally matches the Outback color scheme. Australia is literally like another planet. I cannot stress that enough. I saw what that thing did to Newman in Jurassic Park. I'll pass. There we go. That's what I'm saying. The way it ran has me crying. Good day to you, sirs, and goodbye. Speed walks with intensity. I want to see how this ends here.
Du matin. Et des gens se font violenter par l'Australie. Hey, bye.
Look at how it
Ciao,
runs.
passe une bonne journée. Violenté par l'Australie. Hey, bye. Ciao, passe une bonne.
Why the hell does it run like that? Look at it.
Hey, bye.
Okay. I'm at a loss for words. All right, for this next one, we have some more crazy wildlife that defies logic again. An Australian tarantula hawk wasp dragging off a huntsman spider to lay her egg on its paralyzed body. That is, the rest, I'll save you the details. You can let your mind run. It's not nice, and it doesn't sound pretty either. Jeez Louise. Take a look at this image. Yeah. Biggest spider, remember, for an American here. Spider way too big. Shouldn't ever be seen a spider that big. Then you have this wasp that is, again, should never be that big. You have two Goliaths going at it here. Clearly, the tarantula hawk wasp has won. And point is, cheers to whoever got this camera this close. I don't care if they're zoomed in. They're close enough. Yeah. Don't ever find me near this site right here. No thanks. And we have another video of this little guy. A totally different video, different people. I don't know how. I actually kind of am amazed the cameraman was able to have a zoomed in picture that had this thing in the frame the whole time. Can we just talk about that for a sec? How the hell did he manage that? Second of all, yeah, this thing looks pissed. And it's freaky. Like, they're freaky. Let's get real. They are not afraid to climb on any part of your body. And there's something uneasy about staring an animal into the eyes with its mouth open that wide. Now, in cuter animal news, we have an endangered Australian sea lion. I had to, you had to throw a good clip in there to offset the freaky stuff, right? This thing is, this is a cutie. Look at it, right? I love the little whiskers. It's got like bluish eyes. It's just cute. An Australian sea lion. This looks like Pixar's next lead character. I can see that. I can see that for sure. Now, back to wild things in Australia that just, don't make much sense. We have Keith Spassford. Does that name ring a bell? If it doesn't, This was a 14-year-old Australian teen who wanted to explore the world. So what did he do? He snuck into a plane wheel well. Well, that wheel well opened midair and the boy fell out. The photographer was just testing his new lenses and was shocked when he found out he wasn't just taking a picture of a plane. Rather, he caught a plane with this boy falling out. Talk about a 1 in a billion chance of catching this, especially for the time. This doesn't look new. This looks like it was decades ago. Now, of course, stating the obvious, this is tragic, right? I'm assuming this person passed away. Also, just a word of advice. I'm not an expert. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I could tell you, yeah, don't be sneaking onto planes. Don't be sneaking into external parts of the plane. Just a word of advice. Yeah, probably don't do that. This was crazy, right? I think people do kind of not the best, not the smartest things when they're teenagers. But yeah, this is pretty crazy. Sad, too, because obviously you don't want this to happen to anyone. Second of all, he wanted to explore the world, right? He had the right idea. Now, this is pretty cool. I encourage you to look at this. If you're squeamish about the bug stuff, I always give warnings for certain people out there. This is pretty cool. This is a gold Christmas beetle, mainly found in Australia. Now, I've seen some beetles before. I've never seen a golden one. And take a look. That is literally gold. It looks like, golden paint or something. It's really cool. I don't know. I like it. Now, this was something tested, I believe, a couple years ago. Maybe it was a few years ago. Road markings are usually reflective. So I think that's why something like this hasn't been adopted on a big scale because, don't fix what's not broken, right? I think the reflective markings work fine. I got to admit, this is pretty cool, though, because these are legit glow-in-the-dark road markings. I mean, look at that. It's like you're driving in a futuristic video game, or you're living Tron in real life. Look at that. They look like they're white, but then when it's dark, they're literally like this glow-in-the-dark color you would think of, like that kind of electric green color. And it contrasts so well with the surroundings. So it really shows you where the lines are, where to keep your vehicle. Very cool. And I suppose something we should always have on deck in case we need it. But yeah, I think the reflective markings are probably fine for now. But I got to admit, this is cooler. Not going to lie, this is one of the coolest buildings I've seen in a while. And something I could start featuring more. This is the Majorca building, or Majorca, in Melbourne, Australia. That is very, very fascinating. I don't know what it's constructed out of, but it's this really cool kind of earthy blue color, right? It's got an interesting finish on it. And then, of course, golden accents. The intricacies are through the roof. I still will never quite comprehend how buildings like this even exist. I think everything about them, down to every little detail, is just so amazing and so creative. And I just can't imagine the thought and work that goes into the process of this becoming a thing. And then you think a building is such a grand scale. This is cool. Does anyone recognize this? Have you seen this building in Melbourne? And for the last post, I could go forever with these. I gotta cut myself off so it's not a 2-hour video. 2 fishermen in Australia have caught a bizarre doomsday fish. Holy smokes. What is that? That thing is absolutely terrifying, right? It's almost got like a horse or something, like head. The eyes are way too big. This has got to be heavy. How did they catch this? Where did they catch this? Australia got some explaining to do. This is crazy. I don't even know what it is. What's funny is people in the comments don't really know what it is either. So if you do know, please let me know. I'm going to cut it there. That is, wow. Another amazing episode of just looking at things that blow my mind, things that do defy logic, at least my logic, in Australia. What a wild place. It's like the gift that keeps on giving when it comes to learning about somewhere. Learning about any place is a great experience. But Australia, man, it's always like one of the most unique places that's kind of in its own league, right? I think anyone around the globe can kind of agree that when you dive into Australia, it's just the most fascinating experience. It's really, truly like nowhere else. I've said that a lot, and I'll keep saying it. I hope you had fun with this one. I appreciate you watching. I also hope your weekend is going great. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker. Until next time, y'all. Catch you later.